Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Vivian, aka African Princess. Today I'm going to do a simple video, and I'm going to talk about the differences between Sweden and Uganda, because I've been in Sweden for 5 years now and I lived in Uganda, let's say, I can't say my entire life, but many years. I grew up from there, I went to school there, so I call it my home, right? Yeah, and I'm going to compare a few things and you will notice a huge difference. The first thing I'm going to talk about is market. Here we don't have street markets. We have only shopping malls and supermarkets, but back home in Uganda they have a few supermarkets and ShopRites, and most of the markets are street markets. And I actually miss that, you know, buying food on the street, which is I think it depends on how you think about it, but the food on the streets, the food is always delicious and good. And the next thing that I want to talk about is public transport. Here the public transport is very different from back home in Uganda. We don't have what you call boda boda here. We only have we have buses, we have trains, and what you call them Uber. So and the public transport, especially buses and trains, are very affordable. It's very easy to buy a ticket, anyone can afford it. They made it so easy. But back home we have the boda boda, and then this, you call them matatu, which they always put a lot of people, they pack so many stuff, and it's not comfortable at all. But here it's very comfortable and very affordable, which is very good. I hope, you know, Africa can develop and we reach to this level. Maybe in the future it's possible. Next thing that I would like to talk about is healthcare. Healthcare here is free and is very good. It's like very perfect. A lot of technology. It's easy to let's say to do what. Actually, it's not easy to see the doctor. You have to book, you have to make an appointment, which is very different. Back home you just go to the hospital. Those who have money, you get treated very fast. And in Africa or in Uganda, you have to first pay money for you to get medicines or to see the doctor, which is different. Here the healthcare is free and they first talk to you and see what is going on before anything else. So that is actually good, because no one will die, you know, waiting for money or because you don't have connections or anything like that. And another thing I would want to talk about is education. Education system in Sweden is very different from that one in Uganda. First of all, it is completely free, and another thing is students are given computers. Like who does that? Even students in primary school, high school, you have computers from school and you use them until you're done, and you return them when you're done with your high school or your primary school. And then universities, of course, you buy, and it's very affordable. Anyone can buy a computer. And then in Uganda, it's even hard to get textbooks. They are quite expensive. Not everyone can afford that. So many people are not going to school because education is very, very expensive. I hope that one day we also have free education in Uganda. Another thing that I would wish to talk about is language. Of course, in Sweden we speak Swedish, and knowing Swedish is very, very important, because all the documents, most of the papers are written in English. Education, let's say primary school, secondary school, is in Swedish, and most or many programs at universities as well, they're in Swedish. So it's very important to learn Swedish if you're coming here. in case you have plans to come here, start learning Swedish, because in so many jobs they ask for you to know English. Like English is one of the requirements that they ask for, so it's very important to know Swedish. Sorry, I said English, it's Swedish. Next thing that I would wish to talk about is maternity leave. Here they normally give you 1 year of maternity leave, and throughout that year you still get paid, which is very interesting. We don't have something like that in Africa. Another thing is weather, which is obvious. Sweden can get very cold, especially in the north. It's quite cold, and for a long period, I think around 6 months, which is a long time, you know. But then it gets warmer during summer, which is about 3 months. It's a very short time. But in Africa or in Uganda, we have sun throughout the year and a little bit of rain, which is good. And another thing is alcohol. Here it's you can't buy alcohol in local supermarkets. We have something called Systembolag, which are the stores that sell alcohol, and you have to be of age, which is 21, I guess. If I remember very well, it's 21. That's when you are allowed to buy alcohol. And in most of the time they ask for ID, for your kitambulisho, if they think you're not of age. And another thing I would wish to talk about is the emergency call. Like in most or in many developed countries, they have the 911, but here we have 112, which is amazing because whenever you call, they come in time, which is very, very good. But in Uganda, we don't have something like that. I think most people don't even have numbers for police, like police numbers, unless you have connection and you know someone in the police. And you know this tendency of calling the police and they come like 5 hours later. And then that is really, it's quite dangerous, because how will they help you? They take many hours and sometimes they don't even show up. Same applies to how do you call it, those people who come in case of fire. Yeah, they also come in time, which is very, very good. Another thing I would wish to talk about is taxes. Taxes in Sweden are extremely high compared to many other countries. I think it's more than 30%. It could even reach 40%, it depends. And we don't actually complain, because then this explains why we have free education and healthcare. Plus the taxi helps with other infrastructures like roads. But in Uganda, of course, people pay taxes, but we actually don't know where the taxes go because we don't see like good roads or good hospitals. We need to improve on that. Another thing that I would wish to talk about is African shops. The African shops are not so many in Sweden. We have African shops in few cities. Let's say in my city, I live in a small city called Falun, and we don't have any African shop here. But even those cities that have African shops, you don't get everything that you need. You just get a few things, which can be a bit, hard for us Africans. I've been in Sweden for 5 years and I don't know how sugarcane tastes. That is something like I used to eat almost every day when I was still in Uganda, but now it's been 5 years and I don't know how it tastes. Another thing is coffee. Swedes drink a lot of coffee. They take coffee a lot, and there is, I think in most offices or most workplaces, there is free coffee, which is very interesting. Of course, if you don't take coffee, there is always tea. So at least you have an option there. And another thing that I would wish to talk about, which is the last thing, Swedes are always on time, which we Africans are very bad at. They come in time. It doesn't matter which kind of appointment. Even if someone is meeting a friend, they still come in time. If they have appointments, if they are going to work, they go in time, which is very, very important. But as Africans, especially me, oh my goodness, I have trouble. Like, I have issues, I have problems when it comes to keeping time. But because this is the system here, I'm learning and I'm improving, and I hope I get even much better in future. So that was it. In case you live in Sweden and you're watching, please comment down below what other differences you've noticed, and don't forget to like, comment and share. Thank you so much for watching. See you in another video. Bye.